Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Clicks from KO. I, as always, am Aries Edge. With me, my partner in crime, the Laverne to my Shirley, the West Coast OG himself, the host, Aaron Cantu.
Doing it my way. Wasn't that the intro, right?
Yep.
What's up? And then today with us, we also have the one and only speaking coach, Shelton, Edward Shelton, a.k.a. Dark Logos, a.k.a. Hello.
Yeah.
Papa Bear.
AKA I get around more than a venereal disease.
Oh,
Goodness
man.
gracious.
That's all bad.
He told me I couldn't cuss on his show, and now he's talking about VD 3 minutes in.
Hey, I'm not being profane.
He's not at home. He's not at home.
Oh, shoot, all the
He ain't at grandma's house. You don't gotta watch the language, okay? That's how. That's
Okay.
how we're at grandma's house. We gotta watch the language. Then we
Okay.
get out the streets and then. it is what it
Britannia
is.
got activated, so she was like, "Hold up, wait, what did you say again?" So yeah, but I tell folks, they're like, "Why do you get on so many shows?" It's like I have to remind people I still have a show, and then they'll watch for a little bit, then go away, and then I'll go bug them on their favorite shows and be like, "Hey guys, I still have a show." So yeah.
Your show's one of the few ones I listen to.
You know what's funny? I am the podcaster's podcaster. That's how I look at it. It's like, hey, you want to start a podcast? You listen to me, and then it's like everybody blows up, and then their audiences be like, yeah, I used to listen to this guy named Dark Logos, and it's like, oh, okay. And
I
then
don't know what
my-
happened to him.
I don't know what happened to him. Yeah.
He's still doing stuff.
That's all right. Hey, it happens. I mean, Jason Collins has a funny story about the last time I went to Origins, and a guy went up and was like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you or whatever?" He told Jason. He's like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Yeah, I love your show." He goes, "You know what else is a good show? That Two Clicks from KO." And then the guy goes, and he walks away. And I was just like, all right.
Just standing right there. Just like, yep,
me,
thanks,
right?
man. Appreciate it.
That's not for everybody. But anyway, we got a good show today, I think. We're gonna talk about Earth X some more. Aries had a sealed winter map he went to. And since our last episode, I played in pre-release. Yep, Aries is giving big thumbs down. I played in pre-release. I had a lot of interesting thoughts on this set after actually getting hands-on time with it. Kind of changed my perspective on a few figures. And then I know Edward did his full set review two-parter, right?
Yeah, I did that, and then me rambling about the meta.
Yeah.
So you can.
So that's
check
what we're
some of
gonna
that
do
out.
today. We're just gonna ramble about the meta after. And
Yeah,
then,
we're not doing it at 3 a.m. and
That's-
you've been up for like 14 hours. Yeah.
I've been up close to that right now, but
Oh, okay.
it's 3:20 in the afternoon.
This is gonna be fun.
But
I'm pushing like 13 right now.
yeah. But we're gonna talk about all that. We got Captain Marvel spoiled today. A lot of it. Black Dwarf was spoiled. We'll kind of touch on that. If you listen to the show or watching, we don't do super in-depth previews on every single figure like a lot of shows do. If you want to watch that, you got other shows that'll do it.
Yeah.
You don't need us to tell you what's good. Oftentimes, you guys will tell us.
I was gonna say they usually chime in and tell us what's good. We just
I've been wrong. I'll admit it.
Edward's been wrong.
I've
See,
been
this is the
wrong.
thing. So somebody asked me today. I won't mention who. They're like, how can you have Edward on? And I was like, man, it's kind of like a thing. I gotta have Edward on every new big set because I gotta give him just multiple chances to redeem himself.
You know what?
Drop.
Yeah. Darn Skippy.
So for those that don't know, when the Mighty Thor was getting ready to come out, I had Edward on the show, and he picked we were both picking our one figure that was going to change the meta. I picked Unimine, and Edward picked the Hulk.
Yeah.
So
I still thought Jakeem was good because Jakeem had won the event where Unimind showed up.
Yeah.
And if I knew more particulars, like how closer that game was, I probably would have picked Unimind. Also, in all fairness, I thought Unimind worked like the other Eternals, where he only got one perplex,
Oh,
and
he's
then
so
he could only
silly.
perplex himself. And when I found out that he could do like 18 forms of stupid, I was like, oh,
When I
yeah.
actually stopped and read the card, I
So,
realized
okay, so I did read it, but I did that thing where I replaced. No. Here's what happened. The realms info was not correct.
it still isn't.
Well, that's a lot of things. But the realms info had like cut and paste the perplex trait when I was reading it from what like Thena and the rest of them had, which it wasn't correct. So again, I blame myself. I blame other people, but most importantly, I blame myself. So
There you go.
yeah.
All right, so sorry, I'm just messing with this broken Heroclix figure. So we're gonna talk. I guess we'll start with Aries Winnamap. Tell us about it.
One of my, I mean, it started off good. Big shout out to Bill Connor. He's listening most likely, and his son Billy Connor came right up. Wanted to say thank you for the podcast. He enjoys it. First thing he said was thank you for getting good microphones. So it's
Yeah.
it's easier to listen. So thank you for that. So that was cool.
Aries got better mic than I do now. He's got me questioning it. I'm like,
my mic is super official. I just need to get one of those those nice arms and stuff, and maybe a pop filter. Anyways, so 16 people showed up to the event, which is, I mean, it's great. It was in Worcester, Massachusetts, at a place called That's Entertainment.
mm-hmm.
We got 16 there for a sealed event. I pulled butt cheeks. I mean, in two boosters, I pulled 2 blue Union Jacks and a red Union Jack. So in 2 boosters, I pulled 3 Union Jacks, 2 blue and a red.
Super awesome.
So, I mean, well, I ended up playing a red and a blue. My team was red Union Jack, blue Union Jack, Medusa, Karnak, and Black Panther. So I had an Earth X theme team. Medusa, super underrated. I'll tell you that right now.
Pretty good.
Being able to move 3 squares, telekinesis herself 3 squares, and then giant reach 3 squares, all kinds of dumb stuff. Kenishiro, he pulled her as well, and Norman Osborn. And because Norman Osborn creates the flunkies, he was able to give them the Earth X keyword. So he would create a flunky, put the flunky out there. He would do the telekinesis, move 3, whatever, make an attack, and then the flunky would carry her back out of the way. Because no one's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because no one's messing with the flunkies. So he would throw it out there, and he would know, all right, it's in stealth. No one's going to do nothing with it. And then after he did his little trick with the Medusa, he would just run her back. So after because we had very similar teams, both pulled sat next to each other on the polls. He went 2-1, I went 1-2. First round, I played Bill Connor. He had ungodly pulls. He pulled Lady Octopus with the octopus arms. He pulled Green Goblin with the glider.
Damn.
He had Sandman. He had Rhino. Oh yeah, 2 boosters, man.
That's all bad.
I played him first round. I sat down and I was like, huh, okay, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It ended up being a good match. He got me by 25 points. He beat me 75-50. So it was a very slow moving game. Like we really had to to work around stuff. So fun game. His son pulled a chase as well.
Nice.
So I was like, wow, they pulled the best 4 boosters. So Bill ended up making it to he made it to the final tape. He ended up making top 2.
Nice.
Top 4 was Joe Pape of Pusheen, Jason of Pusheen. It was Joe Gugliari. I probably just butchered your name. I'm sorry, Joe. He's a Massachusetts guy. He plays in New England a lot. He's very active on the Facebook pages and stuff. And Bill Connor.
Is that in McNeil's Jamie McNeil's play group?
I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
Joe
I don't know.
Joe has I've run into him anywhere between all over Massachusetts. I think I ran into him in New Hampshire once. He travels. I saw him at Rhode Island State Championship 2 years ago. So he gets around the New England circuit, and he plays pretty well. So he ended up winning the event. He played a Black Bolt team with the Skull. Skull's nasty, man.
Skull is
so
great.
Good. He's so good.
He played Black Bolt with the Skull, with Karnak.
Yeah.
I forget the entire team. He played Jason in the Final Four. Jason had, he played like Montana, I think the uncommon one. He had a bunch of hodgepodge stuff that he was just trying to piece together. He did well with it, enough to make top four. Same thing as Joe. I think Joe had mostly a Sinister Syndicate team. He had one. Oh, he pulled name. And once Bill was able to crack his name more, he kind of just had some scraps left over, and I think Bill got him on that. But fun tournament.
Yeah.
Fun tournament. That's
so
if you get the chance to play there. Anybody in the area who's listening, go there. Great place. They sell all kinds of cool stuff there. Good booster prices. They were still selling Elseworlds boosters for $5 a piece.
Dang.
I almost jumped on them to see if I could pull.
Did you do? It was 3 rounds and it cut to top 4. Is that what it was?
3 rounds, cut to top 4. They also did. It was also their OP kit day release too. So they gave away some maps and they gave away the Scarlet Spiders and stuff. They had good swag.
Oh, that's cool.
Good swag.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Again, super friendly. Everyone there was super nice.
And after running the winner map, like the kit is actually like really nice. Anyways, it's like for top. I mean, if you don't make top 4, you're not really getting a lot. But it's like generally, like if it's constructed, it's like a $10 entry, or if it's sealed, you're just buying your sealed packs. So no matter what, like I mean, you're not really losing out. I pay $10 to play for my monthly OP, anyways.
Yeah. The winner maps are great, man, and we're seeing really good turnouts in New England. I'm super happy just seeing 16 for a winner map.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's good.
How
that's real good.
How far away was the winner map from you?
Hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20 minutes, and then from the rest of the team.
Those guys drove just 4 hours to get to me. They ended up spending a couple nights with me. So basically 5.5 hours for them to get to the winner map.
Each way?
Basically, yeah. They did an hour. They came up Friday. It took them about 4 hours to get to me on Friday. And then it was an hour and 20 to get to the event, an hour 20 back. And then they took another 4 hours to get home.
So the reason I ask is because, there's a lot of people of the mindset, there's nowhere for me to play. There's nowhere for me to play. And so now you're telling me that Team Pusheen, one of the better teams in Heroclix, travels 5.5 hours to play a winner map.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's
it also helps that we're spread out over our area too.
Right,
because
but
Tracer lives in Pennsylvania. We have Kenji in New York. We have a couple guys in Jersey. I'm in Connecticut, so
but that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make too, though, is that if you go to these events, say maybe the first one you just go on your own, right? But you meet people there and you network, and then eventually, you get friends, you get travel buddies and things like that, And like I got guys in SoCal I can crash with, and stuff like that when I go, and that's 5-hour drive. Well, 3 to 5 hour drive depending on traffic. I know that 2-hour traffic window is crazy, but it is what it is. So. And Edward, I know you know a lot about organizing stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I've been. Everybody knows my Pacific Northwest hype train that I've been on and drilling it, and all that jazz and my drama with that. But I'm like 4 hours. I'm like, hey, that's what you need to do. And like even when Juggernaut was talking about like the best teams. I said, like, Pusheen is one of the best teams. They just needed to travel. So they took my advice, and I'm like, okay, you're taking people that are already high skill set. You're taking them outside of their local area. You're exposing them to new things. They're going to upgrade. So when it comes to US Nats in this year, I think it's going to be interesting. I think we're probably going to see more Pusheen than we did before. It's like just putting up numbers. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is Team Pusheen has always traveled. They're not a vocal team. They don't have a page they post up on. No, I'm just saying.
You're right. No, I mean, you're right.
But we know who they are.
We know who they are. I mean? Like, I would say this, and I think this is just the benefit that I've had being able to look at the game state in a particular way, is I'm aware of different teams.
Mm-hmm.
So folks are like, well, what about this team and what about that team? Like, if I rank my top 10 or whatever teams, they're all over the place. Whereas like some people, they'll just be primarily in a specific area. But when you look at the game state as a whole, and even if you start looking globally, there are a lot of teams that you're like, hey, locally, I think we're probably the number 3 team in the world. Man, you're probably like number 15 at the best. And the main reason is a lot of the effort that it takes to make a good team requires people, I think, now to be all over the place. They're not tripping up each other and trying to get qualifications. And if you see 6, 7, 8 members of a team at a Nationals, Worlds, Rocktober, and they're all qualified, that means they've gone to a whole lot of different places, crushed faces, and then said, hey, we're here. That's a big statement to me.
I know you mentioned the Pacific Northwest. Those guys, if you're in the group or you kind of know some of them. So like I first met was it Matthew Peterson and Jason Devaney from the Pacific Northwest when they came down to Majestics Regional a few years back. And Jason and Matt both got a top 16. Gosh, I don't remember who won that year. But it was shortly after Nick Fury came out. It was like when the double Nick Jason of Sparta was good. If you remember. Yeah. So it was around that time period. And those guys are good players. And then, so then they start, a few other guys came from up there and stuff. And I'm in the group. I see a lot of what they're doing. They do a lot of cool stuff. Like this weekend, I know they got a win a case event at every set release they do a win a case, whether it's at like a pizza place or a store or whatever, and they do a win a case. They've got their own little formats that they do and stuff like that, and they got like their own tokens. So it's almost like their own little mini circuit up there. But they've got some good players. I know it was Aubrey Waltman, I believe his last name. He actually handed me a loss at a Majestics Regional. It was a pretty one-sided loss too. So,
okay.
So like they got players up there.
I will never say
Andrew Place Bertner moved up there. He's well, I guess he's moving away now, but he's pretty good too.
I will never say in any region there's not a good player.
Yeah.
But I do want it to be said that outside of me not having my phone off like a professional, but the thing that I will say.
Okay, we're just dancing. That's cool.
We're just dancing. I think there's one thing if you say, all right, I recognize that we're strong, and then other people recognize us. But then if you're like, hey, recognize me, then I'd be like, then do something for me to recognize you.
Oh, yeah.
I would say like and that was my problem with Pacific Northwest is you can't say like you should be recognized when you haven't done anything for us to recognize. Whereas I would say with Pusheen as a team has done a lot of stuff to be recognized. Mm-hmm. They just don't do it themselves. Yeah. And so that's how I look at it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's the thing, having the events available to go to, right? Majestics historically has been a big event, and luckily I'm not too far away from that. They don't have anything like that up there, and they barely get any WizKids Opens. Now I know the argument is like go to Origins or go to whatever, but some people just can't make that trip. I can't make it all the time, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So I had my pre-release. It was we did 300 point sealed. So this was my first chance to get my hands on some of the figures. I pulled the title cap.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's good. Title cap, Triton, Karnak, the Skull, and President Osborne ended up being my team. That team was sick. It's just disgusting how good
That's
that
filthy.
team was. I was watching everybody open up, and I was like, one guy, Jeff, opened Venom, Gwenpool, and Daredevil, and I was like, I'm in. And the way we do like the first round pairings, for whatever reason, the guy Ray doesn't. When he runs events, our judge, he doesn't bring the win with him. You know what I mean? He just does it and then fills it back in later or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's all done right, but for the first round pairings, we roll dice, so we know who we're gonna play. So I'm like, great, I gotta play Jeff. I gotta play against Gwenpool and Daredevil. I'm like, God dang. So his full team was Gwenpool, Daredevil, Black Knight, and who did he have?
Oh,
gosh, he had one other character, somebody small. I don't remember who. So I won map, and I put us to, I don't know what it's called, but it's the Thor map where there's like a bridge in the middle. There's water on the two sides. It's not Bifrost, is it?
It's the Bifrost map where it's you have the bridge in the middle, and then on the other sides there's like the water, or it's like out of bounds. Yeah. It's gold.
Bridge, the bridge is indoor, and everything else outdoor.
Yeah.
So I choose that because Triton's got the thing where he gets hypersonic speed and water.
Yeah.
Also with Karnak, I have 3 perplexes top dial on the team: Karnak, Triton, and Captain America. Plus Captain America has defend. Plus I get the +1/+1 from Osborne. So yeah, it's like it is really dumb. So typically Osborne was making the Skull his bodyguard to give the +1/+1. Yeah. Just for when it's time to mind control, I could do the 13 attack. I can always do like defense or whatever. So if they try and come hit him, he's a 19 defense. I've got the perplexes. So like with Triton, because he starts on like click 3 or 4 on his lower dial, I have a chance to get that double plex up. It was dumb. Anyway, so I picked this map because pretty much the Skull can mind control from across the map, right? So Jeff and his opening turn, I don't think he even meant to do this, but he just lined his dudes up behind blocking. And so like I couldn't mind control anybody to bring them to my kill box. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna go great. So then I end up grabbing his Daredevil with the Skull, smacking some dudes, and bless your sister. Your phone here. So I end up grabbing his Daredevil, smacking some of his dudes around with the Skull, which is funny, because he's like, "Oh, pick hypersonic." I'm like, "Cool, thanks. I get +2 breakaway now." And and then, but then he starts hitting all these stupid defense rolls on Gwenpool, and I'm just like he bases me with her. So now he's got, remember, he's got plasticity, shape change, super senses, and prop on her top dial.
That's gross.
And I'm like, this is so dumb. So I'm like just making rolls at her. He's got Daredevil base with me. So before the event starts, I was like, great, I gotta play Daredevil. And Diego Bermudez goes, just roll crit hits, bro. And I was like, all right. I'll do that. So I attack Daredevil, roll critical hit. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the Skull goes to my control, rolls a critical hit. So all of his tokens are gone. So then I'm like, cool, we'll just poke you with Karnak and see ya. Just kill Daredevil. I was like, all right. And then I start getting some damage off on his other characters. I hit his Gwenpool finally. And then she has that stupid thing where she does free damage and heals. And so I go to kill her, and he rolls out. I'm like, oh my god, dude. And I have this is Earth X theme team. I have 5 theme props, and I'm just like, this is so dumb. My dice start going cold, but eventually I did make it out alive and managed to kill her. But that Gwynpool was like underrated, dude. That free damage at the beginning of the turn, that was stupid. And then, so I managed to wipe them like right before time gets called. And then, so round 2, I played against Yazan, who's kind of a newer player. And Yazan pulled Venom Gwynpool, Daredevil.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
What?
So I gotta play this guy.
No way.
I swear. And so he
shake those
plays.
cases up, man. What are we doing?
It's crazy. And so he pulls that, and then his team was a little different, but he played the Rose. No, not the Rose. Crime Master.
Okay.
He played Crime Master, so he's got the higher flunkies. And then he had Sandman, so he played Sandman. Sandman's nasty if you do it right. But see, so Yazan's a newer player, so he missed the opportunity. He was making higher flunkies, but he was like overflowing the board with them, where he could have done like to where he has 6 characters and gets a +1 to values with Sandman.
Oh yeah.
If he was just pushing his dudes to death and stuff like that. So yeah, Yazan was a little more careless with his pieces as far as like where his positioning was. So I was able to get a lot, and he picked the opposite side of the map that Jeff did. So I was able to get some early mind controls off with Daredevil and smack some of his dudes around. And then I ended up rolling another critical hit on Daredevil that turn with the skull. And then I finally just rolled a 6, an attack with a 6 to kill him. Gwynpool went down much easier in game 2. He didn't hit nearly as many rollouts as the first game, so that was nice. So I ended up taking that one. And then the last round I played against Diego, and Diego's team was also pretty disgusting. Was Loki on his low points, Super Rare Spider-Woman, the Skull, and the little Luke Cage wannabe dude. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, the lieutenant
guy, yeah.
like the police lieutenant or whatever it is.
Yeah, so this game was like a battle of chess with the skulls, man. It was like, okay, who's gonna do the mind control, and I do have the +1 where I can get +2 to my defense from mind control. But it's like I'd rather just like distribute my perplexes. Hopefully I get that 19 defense. But he's got the prob with Loki, and then he's got that thing where he can re-roll 1 die. And so Skull's just tough to kill. He can mastermind up points and things like that. And so he sends over a Spider-Woman first. I end up getting her. I got his little dude with some pretty clever title cap placements. I used the -3 with him and things like that. But we in the end we sat there and slugged it out. His Loki versus my Osborn, his Loki and Skull versus my Osborn, Skull, and Karnak. Yeah, just Karnak. Oh, Triton, but he wasn't really doing anything. I had to push him back on the Perplex just so he would be like somewhat useful. And that was it, I ended up taking that one barely, but it was fun, man. The Skull is silly good.
Yeah.
So it's silly good. So when I played that, I was like, basically I had an Earth X theme. I had a lot of the figures from the set that are good, and I already thought Osborn was good and a few other characters, but now that I got to play some of them, I'm just like, damn, there's a lot of stuff in this set that's playable. So I don't know. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what you think is gonna see play like immediately, like what's obviously good and like what it pairs with, and then like what's good later, that people will start to discover.
In all honesty, I think the first thing people are going to gravitate to is Daredevil, and Daredevil is a trap. And I said this in my show, is Daredevil is fun. Daredevil is like local meta hero. When you start talking about bigger games, there is too much little piddly crap running around that can circle Daredevil and just make free swings. They don't even have to hit. They just have to roll a 6.
Yeah.
So when you start saying Starro is still in the meta, and I successfully mind control you Roll a 6, boom, with the mind control. I have you do whatever you do. I drop a Starfight next to you. The Starfight makes a swing on you. Boom, rolls a 6. All right. Guess what? You're looking at me real stupid, and you got one little token left, and you're praying to God that I don't just, by chance have a bunch of multi-target characters, and I just target Daredevil on chance. And that's why I know a lot of people were like, you put the Venom harness on him, and you put this other equipment on him. I'm like, no, man, you put symbiote on him because you do not want him targeted. Yeah. And I've gotten pushback from people. They're like, man, he's a cruise missile. And I'm like, no, he put symbiote on him.
I just wrote an article for Majestics, and spoiler, it's about Daredevil. And I talked about that. I was like, the object for him is symbiote. It's like, because the only way to keep your opponent from rolling 6s is to make sure they don't get to roll.
Exactly. Right. So, and he's going to be the fun. And everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's great. But lo and behold, when we get more autonomous, which is the only thing DC is stomping Marvel at, is autonomous. Yeah. Okay? If the more autonomous we get, the more liability he's going to be. And so I know the don't die teams love him, or the hard to kill teams, how we requalified them. I get that. But in the long term, he's not going to have sustainability unless you have something to manipulate die rolls.
Yeah.
And you got like Terrain or somebody like that.
Tulane works.
Yeah, but he's definitely needing symbiote but that's
Tulane, you're talking about a $45 super rare.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at him.
But again, is it worth the points? Is it worth the points to play in there? It's probably going to break theme as well if you're playing it with the normal don't die.
I think he's cosmic.
Is he cosmic?
Can check that.
Trelane?
But how many points is he?
Daredevil is
he's not
Mystic,
a lot.
I thought.
No, he's cosmic as well.
Daredevil's Mystics, Earth X. I don't think he's cosmic. He's celebrity.
Celebrity, Earth X, mystical.
Yeah, Trelane's cosmic.
All right.
Yeah. So he's not going on anything, but I think Daredevil's going to be the first round hero. He's going to be the number 1 draft pick for a lot of people. And what's that dude that got drafted before Jordan? I forgot his name. He kept breaking his leg. That dude. That's pretty much what you're looking at. He's not the Michael Jordan of the set, but I think that's what everybody's going to start looking at initially. And he's not it.
We know what's going to happen is one team's going to play Daredevil and they're going to win something, and then everyone's going to lose their minds and try and play Daredevil, and it's not going to work out just as well as they thought it was. So it's going to be, Daredevil is the new savior. He's the new hotness. He's going to be on every don't die team. And then when someone kills him, turn 3, and they're going to be like, he's garbage. He just cost me 60 points and dropped the symbiote or dropped an exospecs or whatever it is. And then they're going to realize, people have counters to this.
I think for me, off the bat, I see a lot of hype about Vulture Prime.
Oh,
Vulture Prime, man.
He's good. He's good. But I'm saying I think Vulture Prime, I think a lot of people will be trying to build around that. Because it's not super expensive to get, right?
No.
You could get him, and if you want to throw the octopus arms on him, which I think is the way to go with him. Not the enchanted crowbar or some of this other nonsense. You could probably get both together for $30 or $40, which isn't bad for competitive play.
If he charges and let's just say he kills something with the flurry, does he get to charge and flurry again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure
all right.
And think of the wording and timing of it. To me, is similar to Steel Energy. So you can actually let's say he kills 2 bystanders. He'll get 2 charges from those 2 kills. So then you're talking about 4 more attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you're playing.
I think that's the way to go because not even Star. Look at Groot. Groot, Penguins. Especially with the location bonus. Hey, you want to throw your dudes out there? That's cool, man. I'm gonna I'm flurry them up.
I did say your fields and just work my way up the map.
Yeah.
I feel Vulture off the bat, no add-ons, is the board clearer. He clears out all the POG BS.
Yeah.
He's like, boom, 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 boom. That's done. I get a solid hit on your main guy or whoever I need to. Let's go. Whereas if you had that charge flurry thing, I get it. I get that a little bit more. I had questions if that would work because WizKids has weird things about how timings will work. And
I mean, I'm not saying for a fact but to me, I'm pretty sure that's how it will work.
They set the precedence with how Steel Energy works.
Right.
Each hit triggers the Steel Energy.
Yeah. As long as each charge can trigger flurry, then yeah, you're good to go. My main concern was with him, he's not Hawkeye. And I hear a lot of folks trying to say he's the new Hawkeye. I'm like, no, because Hawkeye could just do damage to you and then start walking it back. If Vulture's like, oh, you shape changed. I guess I die now. And then that's what happens.
So the only other object I think is good for him would be the Blood Axe for that reason. Because now he's got Charge Exploit, Battle Fury, Steel Energy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, you're not shape changing out of this. You can still Super Sense or whatever. But I mean, don't forget he has to KO. It's not so like Hawkeye just has to hit. He don't have to do damage.
Exactly.
This guy has to KO. So that's where I say, like, if you're gonna go in hard, you probably want to go in on bystanders to start, and just to get like stack some activations up, and then you just get all these other attacks, or like hit some colossals, things like that if you can.
Yeah.
But I think Title Cap. I think a lot of people are like, I don't know that they're sleeping on him, but I see he's less than $20, and he themes with Avengers too.
They don't know, man. They don't know.
Like
Title Cap.
So
Cap.
He themes with Avengers, so then you get your starter Hulks from Thor, and just Title Cap, two
two Hulks and an Exospec.
You don't even need the Exospecs, honestly.
No. You want the Exospec.
Well, you want them, but I'm just saying you don't necessarily need them. Like, it's just silly, and he can do that from across the board too. You don't have to be adjacent, where like some of the other characters, like move, like Magneto has to be within a certain range or whatever. He's half the points of Magneto, and he can move the Hulks from across the board, and he's got Perplex.
Okay. All right, Aries, I'm going to let you have the last word on this. I'm going to give the hype train on Captain America. All right. Number one, that free move one square. That free move one square is killing it.
Which one? Because he has two. Because one where he free moves one square and then he attacks.
No, moves the team one square.
Yeah.
He's wanting to move his Hulk so they can activate.
Right. I'm just being clear because he does have two different.
Yes, he does have two. So he has the free move up to one square, and he gets to make a close attack. So
which is good.
It's good because all he has to do initially is he running shots, takes his shot, then does that free attack. Boom, and then he does something else. He punches somebody. So he can lay out 8 damage in a turn if he wants to because he perplexes himself up front.
Yeah, he's got that.
Yeah, and with attack. And he has the, fight against slavery, which is free until your next turn. Friendly characters modify their defense by +2. We're talking about mind control. You're going to need that because we are going to see the skull. We already talked about it. We already know the skull and freaking Starro and all this other dumbness. We need some mind control protection. Okay. Yeah. The free move, and I was pointing this out on my show. You get one Hulk with specs, and you get another one that doesn't, and you don't really need more than that. And you just send the Hulk out with specs with hypersonic speed. He's going to make his 3 attacks. The other Hulk makes his attack. Then you get 2 more attacks off of that by activating that free move. Yeah. That's a lot of damage. Let's just go with the one with Exospecs. First attack, 4 damage. 2 single target quakes again. So we're 12 damage. Then one more time is 16. Then we have 4 on the other one. So we're up to 20. And then we're up to 24 damage. That's 24 damage. That's a lot of damage for 192 points. That's a lot of damage in one turn. There aren't that many teams that do that much damage in a turn.
Yeah. And you can just stack giant girls too if you want to make sure you get the map. You know what I mean? So they're 10 points. You just stack.
That was
going to
be my point. That you're going to have to make sure you theme it out because the first thing that people are going to do is they're going to come for your specs.
Oh no! I
shoot them right off the map and be like, See you later. Bye-bye.
I fully agree with you. But I fully agree with you. But here's where I would say is Avengers is the bar none easiest spammable theme than any other, because I can add in maybe one other game element, and then still have 5 giant girls and 2 IDs or a terrain or a bonus. Like Avengers, this is the main reason I hype the Earth X Cap, and I'll hype Iron Man. We'll talk about that later. But Earth X Cap allows you to look at all the other Avengers and say, I can make whatever little types of Avengers team I want.
Yeah.
And so he opens it up. That's where I get hype about.
He's a Swiss Army knife. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
He makes any Avenger team that could be mediocre way better than what it is, just for the fact that he is a great support figure.
Right. He is a great figure.
He's squishy, but he's a great support figure.
So for you, Aries, what figures jump out as like the immediate, they will see like competitive meta, whatever word you want to use?
I mean, for me, the Daredevil is going to be the obvious choice people are going to play. I like Title Cap, but not enough to where I'm going to go absolutely nuts for it. The objects is what sucks everybody in.
Well, yeah,
it's what's going to make any other figures that needed that boost better.
I think the objects are an obvious answer.
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to see your Green Glider teams. You're going to see the Green Arrow on a glider. You're going to see Title Batgirl get some octopus arms. So now she can go ahead and outwit. She can outwit and free charge. She can then go ahead and flurry with it. And then she can sidestep wherever she needs to. And she can flurry again. So she's putting out damage too. On top
I didn't think about that. That's a good one.
She's also got top dial probability control. And they're themed as well. So you can go. I mean, the Penguins are going to die off eventually. But I think with these new added objects, I think it still breathes life into Gotham and things like that, where now I've got a Green Arrow that's got improved targeting just about everything and improved movement just about everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mine's the easy choice. It's objects. The objects always sell well. I think if played correctly, and you can get a good mixture of it, I think the Sinister Syndicate have a good chance of playing very well together. I played against 2 teams that had Rhino and Sandman on them, and
I think
they put out some damage input. The stealth, you put them on a map that has obscuring terrain and things like that. They're hard to get to.
So I was thinking about that too. Kind of like, I would say down the line, but I feel like Sinister Syndicate needs to see play sooner than later.
Yes.
Because you lose Overdrive and you lose some of the other key figures in that team. I think
Fast versus Kingpin.
Is one piece. Overdrive is a piece. Obviously, Doc Ock is a piece. But then the newcomers like President Osborn. I don't know if he has Sinister Syndicate. I'm pretty sure he does. President Osborn, I think I
think he does.
Pretty sure he does. Edward, you can check that one.
I'm looking. Yeah, he does have
all over it.
Yeah, President Osborn is super good for 50 points because he makes the flunkies who also get the keyword, who have, I believe they have Underworld, so now they can start carrying dudes around. And
the only downside to that is you have to be careful making the flunkies. If you go over 6, they don't get the +1 to all their stats.
We could push them to death.
Yes.
Pretty easily.
Or if you have a guy die, you can then make a flunky, and then you can get back to that 6. Yeah. And go ahead and get that +1.
But that Sandman, I think, is pretty underrated.
Sandman's super underrated. He's awesome. He's amazing.
So
I will give you a 50-50 on that one. I need to see the build. I think if you show me a good build, I will be like, yep, I yield all day.
The thing about Sandman is he starts with that top dial shape change super senses, and then if you build your team right, he's also +1 to values. And then he can choose a power on his card. He got stealth. You know what I mean? That's a lot of defense there just to deal with. And then, not even counting what if he can base you and do some damage. So
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure he can choose Flurry too. So if he gets in base with you, and he's already got +1 stats. I think he's an 11-4.
Yeah, I believe so.
So I mean, That's nuts.
And
On
at
top of
50
that fact of
points, I
having
think?
shape change and senses.
Yeah, and a lot of these new ones are 50 points only. I think I think those are like the immediate plays. I think enforcers also. I don't think they're like an immediate thing. I think that's something once all the luster of like the new super rares and chases wears off. I think people will start like, okay, let's check out these enforcers. You know, Fancy Dan get some free
Fancy
tech.
Dan.
To me, Ox is the piece to play with him. The
Fancy
uncommon
Dan.
Ox, because the two Oxes, like, so there's two routes you can go. You could do like a taxi for your guys, right? So like, let's say your team's like 2 Fancy Dans, 4 Oxes, and an overdrive. So you could just go across the map and get ridiculous damage output, because those Oxes will be doing free attacks with a 4 damage because empowered from overdrive. Or you could do like Doctor Strange, the shifting focus, where he can carry 2 Oxes, and then when he gets there, he shifts into the rare Doctor Strange, who has Empower. And then when he empowers, they also get +1 attacks, and that's 11 attack, 4 damage. So you could do that, but then like if you wanted to, you could stay on theme. Like Magia is a thing, like we talked about Vulture Prime earlier. So they can theme with Vulture Prime. And then the Oxes can just carry each other. They have 8 movement, sidestep, and the Underworld team ability. So you can actually just Fancy Dan, choose Ox, they carry each other, and then you're swinging with Vulture, you're swinging with 2 Oxes, you know what I mean? Like, and whatever else you got. I think, I want to say President Osborne might be a Magia, but I could be wrong about that. But he's not I think he's an enforcer too. I could be wrong.
President Osborne is an enforcer. He's Hydra, not Magia or
Magia.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, I think that's some stuff that people will play with later on down the road. I don't think people will see. I think we'll see Skull right off the bat, maybe a little bit, but I don't think people like value mind control as much as they should. So that's the only reason I don't think like they'll see a lot of play.
Cross map tank.
Yeah, but he still has to see though.
Right. And that's the thing. EarthX is nothing to sleep on. You know, like just like Wu-Tang is nothing to F with. Like EarthX is nothing to sleep on. Like there is a lot of stuff that you can do to spam EarthX theme. And when you look at the Hydras, like if you look at those Hydra commons, they are good. They are real good. And they just make the skull way better. And the fact that you're able to tank cross map, you're just like, oh, you're all clumped together. Here's the moment, and I tank you. And it's just for that alone. I think people are just going to pack the skull for non-theme teams. If they're like, hey, I know that these matchups are popular. I got an openish map. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to tank. Like one thing X-Men does not really deal well with is indoor clumped up maps.
Mm-hmm.
They need something a little bit open.
We don't see a lot of X-Men competitive.
I think X-Men's coming back.
It might.
I think X-Men can come back because when Hawkeye goes, X-Men starts crawling out, and it's like the Predator, the Hunter is gone.
When Hawkeye goes, Tank goes.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I would assume.
And that's the question, because if Tank goes, X-Men is definitely on the come up because their number one threat is gone. You can say Proxima Spear.
I think what they don't deal with really is Mangog or Surtur. Like those two are horrible for X-Men.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Just clear out a whole clump.
I agree. Freaking Cortania, stop. But the comeback I have is X-Men has the ability to just get mid-map, drop whatever ID they want, up its stats to godhood, and have 5 to 6 probs on it. And be like, oh, you have a Mangog? Not for long. Cyclops comes out with the 14 attack, running shots, sidesteps off the map, and there you go. But I want to talk about the Iron Man.
Okay. So
Iron Man.
So this is your pick for later on.
This is my number one stunner. Okay, this is my number one stunner. Okay, I can't sleep on Iron Man, and I say Iron Man is 130 points because you're never playing him without the map bonus. Everything you do is going to be focused around Iron Man. I did a whole show about the map, and I did half the show about the Iron Man. So I have to be consistent. Okay, first off, if we look at the map is designed so that it's very restricting. Okay, and you're only playing Iron Man on theme. You're only playing him on theme. So if you get map, you're able to summon Pogs, take out, just apply constant pressure to your opponent. If you have a 1 in 3 chance of taking punish damage from the Pogs dying, okay? Not only that, you can, if you have more Pogs that you're generating or more Flunkies or low-level dudes that you can just throw at your opponent, you can restrict which way that they're coming and how they're going to attack you. And just set up to say, like, we're fighting here. He dictates the terms of the fight because the average competitive team is not designed to take him on. Oh, you have Starro. Guess what? There is so much blocking terrain on that map that Starro can't get. Have a rushdown team with we just said it, overdrive. Okay, great. Did you go down this lane? I got Pogs here. You go down this other lane. Oh, I put a barrier here. Oh, so now you have to spend a whole turn and loop back around. Guess what? I flanked you. There's too much stuff that goes around with Iron Man. And then you can say, well, what happens when you lose map? When I lose map, I start with 3 soldiers off the bat. And then I'm like, let's go, let's fight, let's go. And then we just take it that step further. You're like, all right, Dark Logos, you on that stuff. What happens? He gets knocked to that stop click. He's just like, Autobots roll out, cranking feed people for 4 damage. Then he goes in, Colossal pushes, crank him for 5 damage. Like, boom, he just lays down the damage. He running shots pulse waves. And just be like, get wrecked, Unimind. Get wrecked. So I would make the statement, he needs a leadership with him at all times. And that's my caveat. He's a leadership in that map bonus.
I'll give you this. That's a good spot to lead into the next thing. In the Captain Marvel Gravity Feed set, there's a Phil Coulson figure. And credit to Zach Strong because he's the first one to point it out just how good Phil is to me. Which I just didn't look at it, to be honest. I was at work.
Neither did I.
But Phil is Avengers keyword, Soldier keyword. I'm looking at him right here. He's got the Avengers Initiative team ability. He's got the Shield team ability, so he can see through stealth, move through hindering. And then he's got 2 traits: Espionage, Mankind Shield. Phil Coulson starts the game with 5 Tradecraft tokens. Free remove a Tradecraft token to choose a standard damage power for Phil Coulson to use until your next turn.
Ooh.
Okay, and he's got leadership to start already. He's got a trait, Hard Light Shield, built into the hand, Energy Shield Deflection. Free, remove a Tradecraft token and choose an adjacent character until your next turn. That character can use Energy Shield Deflection if they're adjacent to Phil Coulson. And then he's got special movement, Zephyr 1, Stealth, Flight, Passenger 4. Phil Coulson does not modify his speed value from the use of the carry ability. And he's got 12 speed on that click.
Ooh.
And that's top dial.
Ooh.
He's got a stop click. Stop, it's a magical place. Stop when his power is first revealed. Remove all Tradecraft tokens and heal Phil Coulson that many clicks. So he can essentially carry. We were talking about your Hulks earlier. He can carry your Hulks out there. He's 75 points, I believe. Yeah. 75 points.
75 points.
So it's kind of up there, but it's not bad considering. So he can take like Prob. He can take like Empower. So now your Hulks are hitting for 5 instead of 4. If you want to, just rely on the theme probs or something like that. But yeah, this dude's pretty good. But you were talking about needs of leadership. Seeing a lot of that, and this, just generally, there's a lot of leadership out there right now. But I think this guy's amazing.
Yeah, so I like I said, I'm a Pog puppeteer, and I see these pogs, and I'm like, these pogs are too cheap. These pogs are too cheap, man.
Hey, you know what? And then speaking of pogs and leadership, and Earth X, there's the old Earth X cap LE.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just leadership your whole team from anywhere on the board.
Anywhere on the board. Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
That's
So-
silly, dude.
Yeah. I'm fully on board. Like, again, I said, Iron Man focuses on him. Cap focuses on the team. You have to have a specific build for Iron Man. You be super flexible with Cap. So I'm seeing him coming. I see Iron Man coming.
I want to do Cap with stay grounds.
Oh yes,
Cap with stay grounds.
Cap with Stegron is funny.
Just have my own little Jurassic Park, my little Chris Pratt and Jurassic Park.
How many attacks could you get off?
I don't even know. Are those autonomous? I don't know if
I think they are.
I don't know.
That's
Realms is not
silly,
necessarily accurate on that.
I mean, I don't want to get up and go get the card.
I would have to
Uh,
say they were. They might not be though.
If they're autonomous, that's just silly. But if not, I mean, the most you're doing is 4 attacks a turn. If you want to break theme, and you can do power growth, so you can get 5. But yeah, I don't know. But you're talking about bystanders. I think Stegron's, if I'm putting on my tinfoil hat, Stegron's something we'll see play. I think
yes.
I think the new Wakanda map is definitely something to talk about with the location bonus. There's a lot of, so we got a whole Black Panther set coming up, but we've already got some pretty good Black Panthers out, like the Gauntlet Black Panther from Battle World.
Gauntlet Panther, you throw a symbiote on him now and stuff.
Symbiote, he's got traded senses, and now he gets to reroll his senses. It's so silly.
It's not. It's like Cosmic Panther is one. The other is Spider-Man for a limited time only, re-rolling super senses on a 4 through 6.
Yeah.
Hyper spotting, my man. Hyper spotting, my man.
Yeah, you're talking about handstand Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's really good. Actually, somebody played him at the winning map I had last month. Handstand Spidey. Shout out to Eric. But yeah, man, I think there's a lot of cool stuff. I think this set's silly good.
I mean, it's another one of those sets where it's gonna play super well and sealed. They've been very balanced. I think WizKids is doing a good job with balancing sets. It's making people happy who play competitively because you have enough competitive components to it, especially with a lot of these map bonuses we're seeing and things like that. People are super excited. I mean, they're almost building 5 points less because they're like, all right, I need to have a map bonus because it's only helping you. On top of the fact that it's also playing to the people that like gimmicky team abilities, people who are Spider-Man marks, wanted to see a good Sinister Syndicate. They got a great Goblin. They got a great Lady Octopus. They got all of those things. You're seeing good sealed played. They're well-rounded. They give any player the incentive to want to buy is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
There's just enough competitive in it for people who play meta to buy it. There's just enough for the average casual player to be like, oh, I want to just collect Spider-Man stuff, or I really like the Earth X stuff.
Yeah.
So they're doing well balancing the sets.
Yeah.
Now you brought up some areas that I think we could go into, and I think it's a good observation. They are building stuff to say, hey, look, casual guy, do you like your theme team? Great. We're going to make this figure work a bit better on theme team. If you meta guy, if you're just going to put him on your team, great, because he's cost efficient. But theme team guy, hey, we got something for you. And I think that crossroad allows for some of us that are a little bit more competitive to say, like, maybe I do need to think about Sinister Syndicate theme team once again and play that chameleon. You know,
and on the opposite end, that's another point too. A lot of people are like, one shape change, well, play chameleon. But like on the opposite end too, it's like it also is like a starting off point for people who normally aren't competitive,
right?
To kind of get in there and mix it up a little bit. It's like, okay, these figures are not like overpowering good, but they're good enough to where the guy that likes to play theme will hang at his local Winamap or his local WKO. You know what I mean? And it's like that right there is the sweet spot. If WizKid stays on that trajectory, man, now you're talking about the opportunity to grow the game.
And you just touched on something that I was going to talk about, is that it's getting people out to taste what it is to be in competitive play. When they're going to a Winamap and 16, 18 people are showing up, you have no choice but to play competitively. You're not just going to a sealed event with 4 people and you're like, oh, okay, cool, we're just going to have fun. It's still fun, but you're going up against 16 players. Now you're like, oh, you kind of get leapfrogged into that competitive scene, and it makes you step up your game a little bit to build better, to think about mechanics better. So if we continue on with this path where people are showing up for Winamaps and they're sealed, you're not just getting that guy coming around poaching with his 300-point modern constructed team that he takes to every single state to try and just suck out stuff. You're getting stuff where people are actually doing sealed events and things like that. So that one Johnny Go Lately can't just show up, okay, here we go, Unimind it is. No. You got to build out of 2 boosters.
Right. But I think when we start leaking in about how do you get the competitive player, how do you get the casual player into the competitive mindset? Because when the casual players do come and be competitive, I say 8 times out of 10, they're not. They come out of it and like, oh, those guys are okay. Like on a rare occasion, they're going to be like, those guys are dinks. Yeah. Like, and even if they say those guys are dinks, it's going to be like that guy played round 5. Yeah, is a dink. Okay, and so I think making it so that theme teams, where it's like actual like non-generic theme teams, are good. Yeah. And even we look at Worlds this year, when is the last time that we realistically said, hey, a non-generic theme team has really performed well in the upper echelons of Heroclix play? And I'm like, you could say Pat with Green. No, he can't. Pat didn't win with Green Lantern, and he didn't pay. And then the Avengers wasn't theme either, to my thought process. Quinjet wasn't theme.
Kent Munson. He just played a whole entire Justice League team.
Yeah.
He plays top 8, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Super Friends team?
Pat won with the when he won his first Worlds. That was theme, but I mean, it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Because entities used to give out the cosmic keyword then.
Easton Brock, didn't he just run a Gotham theme team?
He used to run Gotham, but that is the really like closest to non-generic theme I think that's got up there.
I would say the last 2 years we've seen a lot of like step up in like theme team play as far as competitively. And like there's certain keywords that have always been good, like mystical, Avengers, there's certain
cosmic,
keywords.
So on and so forth.
Cosmic, soldier, There's a few that have like been like historically good. Mystical's always going to be good. That one's just always going
to be good. Yeah.
And so like we've seen that like was it like when Dan joins one? If he's not playing Batmite, his team's mystical theme, right? Like he broke it for Batmite, but I mean that's the right play at that time.
Yeah.
But so like but the point is now that theme teams are kind of like becoming competitive. Like I said, that's great because now the casual player can accidentally stumble into competitive play. You're like, oh, I came with my Sinister Syndicate team of Doc Ock that I won 2 years ago. This new Vulture Prime's pretty cool. Overdrive, he carries my guys around. I heard he's pretty good. And I remember I bought this fast forces, so now my guys have 11 attack because of Kingpin, and I've got a leadership. Mm-hmm. It's like, and I got a couple extra points, so I figure I would throw an ID card or like an object or something, why not? And it's like, oh, dude, I won 2 out of 3 games, or I won 3 out of 4 games, and they put me in this top 8 cut. I don't know what that's about, but it was a lot of fun winning, So like you're gonna have like these guys that and okay, that was a little bit over exaggerated. Don't hate me if you're like casual, but I'm just
we just lost the casual crowd. Thanks, man.
No, but you get what I'm saying. You know, like you might show up just to have fun and accidentally win the tournament. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
But then again, you also have to look at what's pushing this whole theme team craze. It's because of new and different things that WizKid's putting out. They're putting so much emphasis on winning map that people are trying to find ways to build themes because they're like, I need my seals. I need to grab that object, or I need Hacienda map so I can have my attacks and I can have that. They're driving it so that winning a map is very crucial. And even if it's on,
but it's always been. It's always
not really. I mean, you had like a handful of maps you wanted to play, but now the maps are so next level good.
You either needed to go first. You either needed to go first or build a team that didn't care about map.
Okay, now you're right classically, Aaron. And now here's the thing: if we go back into the past, Samurai Jack, all that, that far in the past. Initially, the only reason people wanted to go first was so that they could try the alpha. And the alpha was happening on turn 2 and turn 3. The game has sped up so much that teams are on top of you turn 2. So going first means that you're able to make that first attack, or at least prepare for that first attack. Because if you go second, you're receiving whatever is coming on turn 2. And it's not like you're playing a bunch of passive people all the time where they're like, well, let me gear up. Now let me clear. Now we're going to move downfield.
And I thought you're not feeling that. And I thought about this too. We really shifted from a range meta to a close meta. You guys noticed that? You've got like all of a sudden your Kirk, was it Kirk?
Kirk
teams. You've got your Samcap team. Like maybe she calls in a range piece, but like she's still in your face. You know what I mean? It's still like a boom. Here I'm here. It's not like, oh, let me shoot you from across the map, and I'm a fire lord.
We don't got sniper rifles anymore.
Right. So
you don't have to worry about it when you don't have a battery. We
don't have all the avatar pieces like Iron Pharaoh, Phantom X.
Absolutely.
We don't have a lot of that stuff.
Phantom X. Phantom X isn't just as brutal because he's reduced up for range. But the issue you bring up is about range being an element. Our ranges from classically in the game being on average of 8 through 10 have been reduced to 6 through 8.
Yeah.
And because of that, it makes the engagements more personal. So if I go in running shot, you're going to be able to potentially attack me back with the forward placement melee piece. And that's the risk now. And I think that's the risk now. Before, range was supreme because there was no risk to range.
Yeah.
It is. It's now that it all plays into just battle strategy. You have to have better battle strategy. And if you're going to do something, it makes you think more. You have to know, and if you don't, then what the hell are you doing? But you have to know, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to make sure I'm getting all of my ducks in a line because I know from where I'm at, this is the play that they're going to do. So I'm going to open myself up to I'm going to be a little vulnerable. But if I don't do it now, when do I do it? So it's a high risk, high reward type thing now.
Yeah.
And that's just the kind of game we're playing in. And people, like you were saying, Aaron, everyone wanted to win map just to be the first, just to be, first turn so they don't get alphaed. People now want to win map just so they can actually pick their map, get their bonus. It's a little different than, all right, I just don't want to get hit by Ultimate Thor. I want to be able to make sure my Ultimate Thor hits besides theirs.
Bravo! Bravo! No one hasn't invoked Ultimate Thor in a long time. But okay, so let's talk about map, because I know when we first saw the 5-point map bonus at Origins last year, I know everybody was like, WTF, 5 points for a map? Why?
Well, we didn't know what it was. Yeah, we didn't know what it was.
It was still new. It was still fresh.
Yeah, but now looking at it, I have to say the following, and I hyped Iron Man.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Tony Stark map is worth 5 points. That's 10 points at minimum. Considering the constellation that I'm getting I'm getting a prop pog. I am naming a time. There's only a handful of times that I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to pick up that bolt because I need that precision strike and hypersonic speed. You are hardly ever saying that. Hardly. You're going to be like, give me that free flying Indom Proud Pog every single time. Oh, I'll give up an ID for a permanent prob on this map.
Yeah.
I mean, you take me to the Wakanda map. Yeah, I might take that bolt because I might need that precision.
You might need that. That's the point. That's the point. And see, even with the Wakanda map, it is. I was listening to Critical Clix, and PJ was saying like the Earth X Wakanda is probably the most powerful map in the game, and I agree. For a lot of other teams, it's stupid strong because again, you have characters like Spider-Man, who's like 4 through 6 super senses. Then I re-roll it again. Do you really want to deal with that?
Yeah. Even stupid stuff like the Serpent Spider-Man can re-roll it. You know what I mean? Like, I've got my 15-point Bystander's hypersonic, hypersonic speed busting me from across the map. And it's like, well, I'm just gonna get rid of that dude with an attack. Like, no, you're not. You better make sure you hit, and I'm gonna get 2 chances to roll out of it.
And it makes my title Batgirl better too.
And the part that we always overlook on that Earth X Wakanda map is this: you get to re-roll blades.
Blades, yeah.
And if you have a Black Panther or an team, it's protected outwit.
Yep.
Like that is strong.
Yeah,
that is super strong.
The maps are silly good. I haven't got a chance to look at the release OP map yet. But I heard that one's pretty good too.
The Skull has his own map.
Yeah.
The Skull has his own map where if you have someone on the board that has a skull, there's different lanes, like little car, like boxcar lanes where trains would be at. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you roll with the skull, I don't know the exact wording, so people are probably gonna crush me on this one. But you can roll 2d6, and then you get to pick which d6 you want if you have the skull. And if somebody is in that lane inside those orange squares, they get to mind control. I think regardless of line of fire or anything like that, it basically just makes it's the skull on steroids.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I don't know the exact wording. I didn't get a map this weekend, but I have one sitting at my local.
If you give me a second, I can go pull mine.
Yeah, so, if you want, we're transitioning.
It's worth it. The map bonus for the skull. If you thought the skull was good just by himself, the map bonus is amazing. The other bonus, I forget what the other map was. It's like an outdoor map. It reminds me of, oh god, what the hell is the map? There was an old map where half of it was like a loading dock, and then there was like a boat. It's an older, like maybe like all the way back to Web of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's similar to that. What's the one map with the?
I don't know what it's called, but you're right. I think you're right. I think it was Web of Spider-Man.
I think it was.
Okay, it's I keep the trains running. 5-point location bonus. Orange line indicate number of tracks. Number tracks. Each track has the number of the die icons near the edge. At the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character. That character and the character occupying the dotted orange square have free. Roll a d6. You may have this location make a close attack with a 10 attack, 2 damage, targeting all characters in the resulting track. Roll a 6. You may choose a track. After resolutions, each attack character is placed in a square adjacent to their current square that is not in that track. Active players choose. If the character is given this action is named the skull, instead roll 2d6 and choose either as the result. Constellation, opposing characters modify defense by -1 when targeted by mind control, incapacitate, or telekinesis.
So you play the skull, you play that, and wow, now he's just doing free damage all over the place.
And then he's mind controlling you after.
Yeah, then he can mind control you after for extra punches. That's pretty good.
I mean, also he could mind control you, do what he's got to do, move you into the tracks.
Yeah.
And then roll his free and hope that you're on the track that he wants you.
Yeah.
And then attack everyone who's in there.
Ooh, that's dirty.
All right. Well, we're going to transition into some questions really quick. We're gonna roll these out. Let's see. So, I think a lot of these are already touched on. Richard, is that Duquesnoy? Says,
Duchesneau?
I'm pretty sure it's Duquesnoy. Sounds French. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Is it
Uh,
Duch?
Yeah, it's that guy.
Duchesneau. He's one of my friends.
Oh, okay. Well, F him then. No, I'm just kidding. Says Aries and I already.
He's that casual guy I was talking about who clearly does Great Lakes Avengers and stuff.
Yeah, discusses a little bit, but Sinister 6 United trait. Think we'll see some meta play with them. Yeah, I mean, we already talked about that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm sure he'll play it.
Weston Steiner says, which new special equipment do you think will become the new go-to after rotation? For me, it's Symbiote.
Ooh.
I mean, it depends on your play style. It's going to depend on what you're building and what suits you. I mean, if you want to play a speedster, probably the Beetle Pod works for you. It's going to give them a defense modification. It's going to give you a toughness. It's going to give you flight. It's going to give you a +2 to your movement. If you're looking at trying to upgrade Green Arrow, if he's still around after the cut, you're looking at Glider. Batgirl likes the octopus arms. Others like the octopus arms. So it's all depending. I mean, shape change, you can't go wrong with shape change. Everybody, if you don't want to take damage, don't let him target you. Yep. So yes, Symbiote is a good choice. I mean, the Spider Slayer too.
Just pick one.
They're all good. It all depends on your play style.
Okay, yeah. So what's your play style?
Your play style.
With your play style, which one will you be playing?
Me most? Personally? Yes. Oh, Green Arrow is. You see him rolling.
Okay.
Okay.
All day, son.
I can't do that one. But I understand why. I just can't do that one. For me, it all depends on what the gauntlet does, because I think the Infinity Gauntlet will come out before retirement. If my worst fear is that the gauntlet just made all these objects obsolete. That's my fear.
I hope not.
I hope not. I really hope not. But if you could catch me outside right now, I definitely have to say Specs for the moment. Okay. Specs just fits on too many different things that I'm building. If I had to pick a number 2, I gotta big up my man Smite, that Mini Slayer.
That Mini Slayer is underrated.
The Mini Slayer.
I was hyped when I saw the preview for that. I posted. I was like, man, this thing's killer.
Yeah.
You
don't like Mjolnir object hate.
You don't want to pay $150 for a Thor with Mjolnir. You don't want to, get an extra specs. Hey, pay $5, get that rare with that Mini Slayer, and just say, total FU.
We'll put it on like an Avengers team with the convention exclusive Cap, because he also has some object manipulation as well. Yeah. On top of the fact that hitting with the Mini Slayer.
Yeah.
Jason Lavendera writes in. He's one of my local guys. He says, how meta is Ultra Chase going to be? I've heard of some craziness that could be used to cheese it up. I don't think he's that good. Like he's,
after rotation, maybe he might see play. But right now, no.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I think right now he's not there from all the builds that I've sort of heard. I think after rotation he could be 5 kinds of stupid. Mm-hmm. The bigger question that needs to be ruled is, for me, like if I bring back my standard starting figures, do I get like God of Trickery like Loki's?
Yeah.
Like, do I get stuff like that back? Because if I get stuff like that, then I think he has some.
Well, they were KO'd, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah, but see here, they are KO'd. But there's a couple of things I want to see, like shenanigans with. Sure. Like, what happens if I KO all these figures and I also have Mystical Green Lantern?
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just little minor things.
All right. And the last question on the Facebook page from Zach Strong says, if you 3 had to predict which one single piece will have the biggest impact, what would it be? I'm going to add the caveat from EarthX. So, Edward, I'll let you go first, man. This is your favorite question.
If I'm going to see overall with the community, it's going to be Cap.
Okay.
It's going to be Cap. He's just does too much.
Yeah. Aries. One piece.
One piece.
One piece. No, this and that, and depends.
Monkey D. Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy.
One piece.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Daredevil.
Daredevil.
I'm gonna say someone's gonna figure out a way to make it work. He will see more play, I would say, consistently.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For me, the one piece will have the biggest impact. I would have to say,
Medusa.
I think the skull.
Yeah.
Skull might be it.
I think the skull might be it because you get that across the map mind control on the colossals for smacking other
Oh
colossals.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot you can do, and then now with that stupid map. I mean, if we wanted to pick something, I'd say map, but I mean, we're doing figures, so I would say the skull.
If I had to choose, I would say maps as well.
Because I think too, with the skull, if he starts rising in popularity, then you're gonna start seeing. We already see Tri-Sentinel played, but you're gonna start seeing people going, man, I'm not playing Surtur and that nonsense. I'm gonna play my Tri-Sentinel because it can't be mind controlled. I'm tired of getting mind controlled by Skull to have my Surtur smack my whole team.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we'll see.
Ever since they changed mind control is one of those abilities where I think it's been overlooked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where it can change a game big time.
Yeah. You want to see a lot of mind control. Watch my game with Rob Barazol with our double brother.
Oh gosh, classic.
Ooh.
Okay, I use that as a coaching game. Everybody should watch that game because it tells you two major things: one, flexibility, and two, creativity. Rob Barazol's team design is excellent. Aaron comes back and adapts to that situation like a champ. Yeah. Definitely, if you're new to Heroclix, go look up that game. That is a great game to learn from.
Last up, we got some questions from Malcolm Rush. Malcolm.
Always Malcolm.
Always Malcolm.
My New England dude in Japan.
Yeah. Last episode, we forgot him. So he's got some Valentine's Day questions centered around love. So first question. So we're not going to go, everybody answers all of them. I'll just pick one person. So the first question for Edward, which Heroclix characters do you love to play for fun?
Black Panther. Black Panther.
It's Black History Month too, guys.
I need to set up that event at my shop.
Aries, which Heroclix do you love to hate to play against?
Do I love to hate to play against? Unimind. Yes. Unimind or any like slow ass, like I'm gonna creep in my starting zone stuff. Like I'm all set with that. That's why I play Alpha Strike most of the time.
For me, I'll say, which sculpture do you love? Which sculpture do I love? I really loved this piece. Oh, you know what's actually one of my favorite sculpts of all time, and I don't think it gets a lot of credit, is the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy duo, where there's the martini glass.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brave and the Bold one?
The Brave and the Bold, yeah.
Yes, that is a
good sculpture, man.
That's probably the best duo out of that set.
I remember when I pulled it, I brought it home, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I really like this one." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty dope."
He's going under it.
And she don't really like the Heroclix. He's checking out the broken thing. Hey, don't mess with it more, dude. Let's see. Edward, which Heroclix players you love to play Heroclix game and why?
He doesn't play anymore, but Goku. I've lost so many. I've only won one, but still, like if I could play Goku one more time, I would love to.
Let's see. What kinds of Heroclix games do you love to play?
And people, you're gonna probably give me the most crap of all about this. I love playing Sealed. I really enjoy playing Sealed. You can show up to any venue with just a bunch of dice and tokens in your pocket. You don't have to worry about like building stuff. Like you get there, you build. I think the funnest thing that I've ever done was a lot of my guys at my venue didn't know what a snake draft was.
Oh yeah.
So when Civil War was around, that's how they did the Civil War stuff with snake drafting. So I had to teach them, hey, when you guys go to bigger events, this is what a snake draft is. Yeah. So they learn quick. Yeah. Like, hey, it's okay for my stuff to die. I need to kill stuff.
I like sealed. I just don't like it competitively. I don't like when there's like it's high stakes on the line. And it's you just two boosters. That's there's the difference. I love to go play sealed at my local shop, and or even like my brother and I used to just play sealed games at the kitchen table when we first got into the game. So
they should have a mulligan thing in place where if
Yeah.
you pull a real butt cheek booster, you can you keep
so when
it.
you pull 3 Red Union Jacks, you know what I mean?
It was 2 blue and a red. It was 2 blue and a red.
Whatever.
I pulled open that thing. Like the best piece in it was what the hell is his name? The rare all black and white. What the hell is his name?
Negative Man.
There you go. I pulled that.
Yeah.
I was
Pretty
like,
Ooh.
Ooh, I would have played him. It's big in this set.
I wanted the theme. I wanted those
Yeah.
theme props. I roll like ass.
All right, and the last question to close out the show, we'll each answer this one is why do you love this game, Edward?
Because it intellectually challenges me, even though I rage at it so hard.
That's a good one. That's a big part of what I like about it. Aries?
Camaraderie. I like the camaraderie of the community. You see it in a lot of things where, I mean, there's you always got one or two, people in it that are, but I enjoy the camaraderie. Someone in the community suffers, we all suffer, and people rise to the occasion to help each other out. And I just think you don't see it in a lot of other groups. You don't see it in a lot of other communities. So I like the camaraderie. I like the banter and stuff like that.
Yeah. Case in point, we had the what's the guy, Yang? I forget the first name.
Jordan Yang.
Yeah, his nephew's tournament was last weekend. Had like 40 plus players.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For show up for an event. That's really cool. I mean, I know that if you're coming from a different game like Magic, it doesn't sound like a lot of players. But like just basically anytime you're talking like comparing Heroclix to Magic, just times attendance by 10. And then you'll be like, oh, so it's that big of an event, or at least by 5. And so like that's really cool. That's a good answer too. For me, actually mine's pretty much a combination of both your guys' answers. Is like it gives me a chance to go out and use this, use the brain and think about stuff. I like strategy stuff. I'm a competitive person. I like to compete. Been that way my whole life. So like that's another thing. I like the competition. And then but you go out and you meet cool people. You have a lot of fun. Like if you talk to any of the competitive players or whatever, they all love to go to the events to hang out. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, and it just on the side, we also get to compete. So like that's pretty much how I feel.
Yeah.
All right, that's all our questions. I think that's all of our talking points. We kind of went into Earth X a lot longer than I thought we would. Next week next episode we'll jump more into the Captain Marvel stuff because hopefully we'll have all the dials by then. I think we are pretty close. There's 9 commons, 11 rares, and 2 chases. And then hopefully then we'll have some info from Rebirth also.
Rebirth.
Good old Rebirth. I know Aries is excited. We saw some of those pictures throughout this week so far. There's a lot
Batman Metal.
There's a lot of Bruces to collect.
I got okey doked on one, so I apologize. I posted up a picture, and then someone pointed out that it was a sculpt. It was an actual sculpture of a. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. And someone pointed it. Well, right after I posted it, another picture leaked of the same character, and I was like, uh-oh, I think I've been bamboozled. So I was like, damn, fake news.
Hold on, wait. Did it have a Clix off little banner on it? I'm sorry.
This shots fired, bro.
This ain't shots fired, Edward.
I'm sorry. I kid.
By all means.
I kid.
You gotta give me a very stern talking to.
Hey. Half the last time I saw had Clixed off on it. So I was just like, did it come from Clixed off? because they got watermarked on all.
They got all their watermarks now. That's funny. So I want to thank Edward for coming on. Edward, plug your shows.
Yeah,
Show.
this show now. Starting Over podcast while I'm on YouTube before I get hot banned for starting trash on other people's shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod, and of course a K from Outer Space, because I have the only Twitter from outer space. So there you go.
All right. Like I said,
starting nothing that we can't. I can carry the weight of it. I'm cool with it. Say what you want, man. Open mic.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for starting crap, Edward. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Aries. I'll check you out next time. And until then, everybody, remember, the real fun begins when you're 2 clicks from KO.